as an old saying has it.
Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Dry Drowning on PC. Okay, I think we just got done talking to her, so let's... see, should we go back here? No. PlayStation? Crime scene? Why would I come back here? She must be the owner of this place. What is she doing at the crime scene? Good morning, madame. I'm Detective Foley. I guess the police informed you I was coming. Yes, I know everything. My name is Nadine Sterling, and I manage this hotel. Let's see, very distrustful woman. Nadine has always been very close to her husband, the only person she has ever loved. Nadine was born in a low-class, bigoted family and was forced into an arranged marriage when she was very young. Soon after marrying her husband, she started to work tirelessly with him at the Five Twins Hotel, hoping to make it out one of the most famous places in Nova Polimus. How can I help you? Let's see, crime scene. Well, I thought I'd find you in the hall. What are you doing here? Now that the police have collected all the evidence, I just wanted to see what happened in my property with my own eyes. They never let you in before, right? No, I've just been questioned and asked about who checked in that night. I'm sure both this murder and the bomb at the Black Band's headquarters are part of the plan of those politicians who hold their position. I'm telling you, in 5 years, the city will be a junkyard. Prejudice and cliches, my favorite combo. My husband founded this hotel more than 15 years ago. Now he's gone, and since we had no children, I inherited everything. Number 237 is one of the most modern rooms, highly requested. How many people work here? 5 in the kitchen, 3 porters, and a receptionist. Most of them leave at 11 p.m. So the hotel was almost empty when the 2 victims were shot in the room. Please tell me everything you remember about that night, and try to be as accurate as possible. Take action to solve the mystery. Whenever the text changes color within the dialogue, it means that you can click on that part to see clarification or expose inconsistencies. In this way, the person questioned will give you more information, helping you solve the case. That night I was in my room. I slept here because I didn't feel safe going home alone. Could you be more specific about this? I took a bath and got ready for bed. What else am I supposed to say? Okay, please go ahead. In my room, okay. What were you doing in your room? Well, it's only natural after what happened. I won't risk getting up like that poor wretch. Alright, it's clear you're a careful person. Carry on. That night I was in my room. I slept here because I didn't feel safe going home alone. Generally, this place is really safe, and that didn't seem to be any different. At least until I heard several gunshots at around 1 a.m. Wait, you heard gunshots? Yes, at least 2 or 3 in quick succession. Why, is that an important detail? More than you think. That means the second victim actually did shoot 3 times. But 2 bullet holes are missing. Where are they? Okay, that's the same information. She said generally. Generally? What do you mean? This city is not as safe as it used to be, and I always tend to assume the worst. Oh, I'm sure about that. I was scared and immediately called the police, who arrived 20 minutes later. That's all I remember about that night. Do you need anything else from me? Yes, I need to ask you some more questions. About what? I'd like to know, how does one gain access to the hotel? After 10:30, accessing the hotel is only possible with a card. This is why there's no need for surveillance cameras here. And what if anyone comes in the middle of the night and wants to rent a room? There's a phone at the entrance, but nobody called that night. I see. No need for surveillance cameras. Are you kidding? No video surveillance at all? What for? Both the door and the rooms are alarmed, and this area has the lowest crime rate in the city. After 10:30 p.m., yeah, okay. Obviously, rooms can be accessed only after prior identification, and the door beeps whenever a guest goes in or out. Oh, shit, I'm missing some of the stuff. That day, Mr. Huber entered the room for the first time at 4 p.m., then 8 p.m., and finally at 1 a.m. You saw him coming in then? Was he with anyone else? Not that I recall. He booked the room and sent his data online 2 days before arrival. That's all I know. So he was alone the first time. Maybe he wanted to check the room. Okay, how about 8 p.m.? He came back 4 hours later. Were you at the reception? No, I was helping in the kitchen at the moment, but the girl who was replacing me said he was alone. The other victim could have arrived earlier and been waiting for him at the entrance. After all, the hotel was freely accessible. And we can't remember all the people that passed by. So the killer could have waited for him at the door and then attacked him. That day, Mr. Huber entered his room for the... Oh, yeah, it's right here. How about 1 a.m.? Wait a minute. 1 a.m.? By that time, Mr. Huber was already dead. So, who entered his room, and how? I have no idea. Maybe he used Mr. Huber's Aqua OS? Excuse me? You said it's possible to enter only with the room card, haven't you? Well, actually, you can do that with Aqua OS data too, which is registered at the entrance. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. So, it was possible to enter with the Aqua OS. This could change everything. For now, I better write down what I discovered. See, first entrance 4 p.m. access with key. Second entrance 8 p.m. access with key. Third entrance 1 a.m. access with Aqua OS. That day, Mr. Huber entered his room for the... right, you're right. Am I free to go, detective? I'm getting tired. You can go now, madame. You've been very helpful. I just hope this whole thing won't ruin the reputation of the hotel. We've been working so hard to make one. I hope so too, madame. Goodbye. The more answers I find, the more questions arise. Maybe I can show him the broken... Is that the professor's Aqua OS? Someone named Thalia gave it to me. You should know her well. Is that right? Of course I do. And I'm worried about her. Poor thing. She must be in a lot of pain. Would you be able to repair it? The data inside could be vital to the case. I think so, although I've never seen something like that before. It should be technically impossible to corrupt Aqua OS data. While I try to figure it out, could you do me a favor? What kind of favor? You're quite an interesting character, and I would like to challenge you with one of my creations. Nothing too complicated, no worries. A simple game which will allow me to understand a lot more about you. Do I look like I'm in the mood for this? Come on, you'll be waiting for my response anyway. Being so unpleasant won't make your life easier. Fine, but hurry up and make that thing work. Great, I'm sending the file to your Aqua OS. Have fun, Mr. Foley. Be a Good Citizen is a popular game in Nova Polimus. The goal is to connect all cells inside the grid. Select a cell to rotate it and connect it to the colored ones to form a perfect network. Have you already played Be a Good Citizen? Download it today to obtain a 10% bonus on your scores for a week. Okay, so... it's a game of pipe dream, basically. But that's not gonna work. From now on, Be a Good Citizen will be accessible from your Aqua OS menu. Complete as many levels as you can. Something cool might happen. Congratulations, that took you less than I expected. Now I hope you can give me some answers. I believe I can repair it, but I'll need at least a couple of hours. Damn it, that long? If you'd like to leave your contact details, I'll be sure to get in touch with you as soon as possible. Alright, I hope this will lead to something. I'm not going to wait for hours with this lunatic. I'd better go back to the office and take stock of the case with Hera. If she's still willing to speak with me, that is. Look who's here. Have you come back to make sure I was still home? I'm starting to get tired of your jobs. It's just that you are much better than that. You've proven that by handing over the video to the police, even if that day at the office you refused to make that promise. Despite that, I can't help but notice that after the recent events, you have been changing, and not for the better. I might have changed, but I'm always trying to keep you safe, even during the investigation at Treasury Park. I understand you care about me, and I appreciate that. But don't ever cut me out again, not without my consent. And don't get me started on what happened at the police station. Admit that you have a problem, and for once listen to what I have to say without acting on your own. Hera. Actually, I am sick of arguing. Since Vargian, I've been scared of losing you, like never before. Tell me, Mr. Detective, have you ever thought I might want to protect you too? What I need is a real shoulder to cry on, and as long as we're together, no stupid xenophobic party or crazy killer can stop us. Now, how about you tell me what you've discovered? Unbelievable. So that's how it is. Yeah. Then my first thought after seeing the crime scene was not wrong. What do you mean? Do we have any pictures of old Pandora-related cases? There's not much left after the police raided the place to find evidence against me, but maybe we have something about the Keaton case. The fourth victim and the first male one. An archive photo about one of the first cases related to Pandora and handled by Foley Investigations. The picture reflects the modus operandi and vile cruelty of the serial killer. Evil always has a beginning, yet rarely an end. Okay, it should be enough. Let me focus. Let's try to compare the latest murders of Pandora with the Keaton case. What are the hallmarks of each of them? Select one feature and assign it to the correct crime scene. Keep in mind each feature can be linked to one or more scenes. Select one of the pictures to get a brief summary of the related crime scene. Well, I've never even seen this crime scene. Treasury Park case, which revived the myth of Apollo and Daphne. Girl's throat was cut and her eyes were removed. Case we're investigating now. The professor was killed with a knife or something like that in a hotel room in a populated area of the city. The message on the mirror makes us believe he relived the myth of Prometheus. This terrible case is one of Pandora's most famous murders, and the victim had his throat cut and eyes removed. It took place in an isolated farmhouse, and he wanted to relive the myth of Narcissus. So, eyes removed is here too. Eyes removed. Greek myth reenactment. Yeah. Throat slit. Throat slit. I don't remember if his throat was slit though. And he had stab wounds. this one didn't have anything written. But this one did. Yeah, this one's the one that didn't have anything written. But his throat wasn't slashed in this one, so no. Yes? No eyes removed, but something written. Oh, does it get solved when do it all right? Myth of Apollo and Daphne. Girl's throat was cut and eyes were removed. So, eyes, throat, yeah. But nothing written, I don't think. Right? Unless they all had something written. But this one I've never even seen. This one I don't think. Which relieve the myth of Narcissus. But this one specifically says Greek myth reenactment. Eyes removed, yes. Written quote about the myth, no written quote. But no written quote on this one either. I mean, these two match. This one's the only one that doesn't match. There's no eyes removed. No, there was throat involved. Okay, hold on a minute. So, let's start over here. So here, Treasure Park case, which revived the myth of Apollo. The girl's throat was cut, right? Eyes removed. Greek myth reenactment. So yes. Let's see, the victim had his throat cut and eyes removed, so throat cut, eyes removed. Isolated farmhouse to want to relive the myth of Narcissus. So, Greek myth, right? Here the location was locked. Here the location was locked. Here was open. Well, this says isolated farmhouse, so not necessarily locked. Here, no throat was cut. We do have Prometheus. His eyes weren't removed, though. That's one of the things that we mentioned. Right, that wasn't locked, was it? I don't remember there being a note on this one. so get my memory here. Okay, so for this, we had Cutthroat Fisher, Greek myth, eyes removed. That I know for sure. And here it's Greek myth. Okay. No eyes, because we made it very clear on that. Look, and then this one is, yeah, that's right. Okay, and then this, see, the thing is, we've never seen this crime scene, so we just had this one photo, and we didn't have a chance to read what was in the description. But we know it's Cutthroat, we know it's Greek myth, the eyes were removed. Location locked. That doesn't say that the location's locked, it just says it's a remote farmhouse. Just as I expected, the crime scene at the hotel is slightly different from the others. In general, Pandora carefully revives the myth he chooses, creating a creepy and macabre work. But he has never left any clues to openly disclose his intentions, as if he wants us to think and speculate about his work. However, one element from the last crime scene seems to clash with his ideology. I'm referring to... Click on the most recent crime scene. Since the part, it's the written. That part. Damn it, I should have seen this the whole time. The message seems to expose the killer's intentions. Exactly. By directly quoting Prometheus, he undermines both the artwork and its context. So it means that Pandora did not kill the professor. I can't be entirely sure. Think about it, though. What would you do if you had to murder someone and blame a famous serial killer? I guess I would analyze his modus operandi and emulate it. Right, and considering the lack of information on Pandora, it's inevitable to make little mistakes. Mistakes that only those familiar enough with the killer may notice. For once, censorship works to our advantage. If Pandora's not the killer, who did it then? I have no idea. I hope that Huber's Aqua OS will come in handy. We should inform the police on everything we found out so far. Not yet. For now, we better proceed on our own. Speak of the devil. Apparently, our friend has repaired that thingy. There's also a message from our old lawyer. He wants to speak with me in his office. What about? The Blackspan case has been closed. I don't know, but I should go see him as soon as I can. Alright, let's keep in touch. I'll be at the office if you need anything. What's this one? Alright, let's go back to the Smith house. Let's check out the Aqua OS. Welcome back, Detective. I guess you received my message. Indeed. What did you find inside that thing? I was hoping you would be so kind to introduce me to your beautiful colleague first. Well, thank you, sir. We don't have all day. Spit it out. You should see for yourself. Bring your device closer so I can transfer the restored data. Keep in mind that most of the data has been lost, and only those from the days before his death seem to be available. Aqua-OS that used to belong to Cornelius Huber. The data inside was stored by his assistant, Dean Smith. The first step towards oblivion is always the most careless. Open your inventory and click Use to open Cornelius Huber's Aqua-OS and browse his files and documents. My project has finally seen the light, but only now do I realize the devastating consequences that it could entail. During all these years, I've just laid the foundations, and, as painful as it is for me to admit, I could have never achieved a similar result without my assistant. I wonder if he's aware of what unleashing that virus in Nova Polymus would lead to. The image of Thalia torn apart by the virus haunts my nightmares, and won't let me sleep peacefully. It's hard to admit, but maybe that man's offer is not that absurd. His offer is getting stronger and stronger, and I'm starting to crack. I don't have much time left, but I must live for Thalia's sake. I'll doom everyone and carry this burden forever. Each passing day, I look at her and realize how selfish I was to keep her by my side, even though I knew the hell I was getting her into. A safe passage, an escape route for us towards a different future. Tomorrow is the day, and may God have mercy on me. That's all he has. Did Huber create a virus? And who are those people he mentioned? Mr. Smith, we need to talk. I saw that coming. I'm not sure what to say. I'm as shocked as you are. The professor never mentioned anything like that, at least to me. You should ask Eugene. I'm sure he has something to do with this. I see. I'll go after him. Dean is lying and the mask proves it, but I don't have enough evidence to unmask him at the moment. I should find Eugene and Thalia. Maybe it's worth going back to Hephaestus, hoping for someone to see me. And I shouldn't forget about David, although meeting him remains at the bottom of my priority list. I swear if I have to wait for hours once again. Please, Mordred, try to chill, or else they'll kick us out before we can even talk to anyone. Is there any problem, sir? Oh, hello there. No problem at all. I just need to talk to one of the managers here. Well, it's your lucky day. My name's John Deckard, business manager at Hephaestus Tech. How may I assist you? Deckard, huh? Yes. Well, Blade Runner influence there. Deckard's talent for eloquence stands in stark contrast with the rough and sometimes violent behaviors he showed throughout his academic career. After graduating from business school at the University of Nova Polimus, John worked as a marketing manager for a few minor companies. He participated to meetings and conventions and made a lot of friends in high places, which granted him a job in Hephaestus, where he earned his current position a few years later. Luck's on my side for once. I'm Mordred Foley, and the girl in the hologram is Hera Kiris. Nice to meet you, Mr. Deckard. We're private detectives, and we're here to collect information about Cornelius Huber's homicide. Oh, right. I received a message from the police a few hours ago. Don't tell me you suspect someone within Hephaestus. Actually, we just want to ask you some questions about the victim and his assistants. They all used to work here, right? Yes, I know them personally. And frankly, I can't understand how this could have happened. Either way, go ahead with your questions. Could you tell me about Cornelius Huber? What do you want to know exactly? Well, everything. Even the tiniest detail could be crucial for the investigation. Cornelius was a very well-liked man in the company. I honestly cannot imagine someone wanting him dead. Especially now that he finally decided to get married. What was he working on before his death? As far as I know, he was carrying out research on some mechanical prosthesis to be used during surgical procedures. Nothing that could bring him in trouble. So, Huber was assigned to the medical branch too. Of course, the majority of our departments collaborate on various projects most of the time. Working on prosthetics, huh? Pretty interesting. What do you know about Professor Huber's assistants? Eugene has always been a reserved and quite rude guy. Huber was the only person he was speaking to. He even used to lock himself in the Aqua West server room for days. He seemed to be obsessed with the idea of prevailing over his brother, even at the expense of his own physical and mental health. So Eugene most likely had access to the Aqua S servers. I wasn't surprised by his reaction when he found out that the professor had appointed Dean as his successor, despite his ambiguous behavior. What kind of behavior? He has always been staring at Thalia with a strange look in his eyes, and he never hid his almost visceral passion for her. And despite this, Yuba chose him as his successor. Well, he has never gone too far, although his looks always give me the shivers. This is crazy. It's like everyone involved in the case has something to hide. Is this related to the mask that appeared on Dean's face when he read the data on Huba's Aqua OS? I'd better ask Thalia about it. Could you tell me whether Hephaestus is producing some sort of biological weapon, like a virus or something? A virus? Who do you think we are? We create technologies and medical supplies. We don't organize mass murderers. Where'd you get that ridiculous idea? I hope it's not coming from the police. Of course not. Don't worry, my colleague sometimes talks his nonsense. No mask, just as I thought. The virus was a personal project carried out by Huber and one of his assistants. Or maybe only part of the management of Hephaestus and the government knew about it. But one thing is for sure, they are not all saints. Who do we talk to about tracing the sender of some encrypted emails coming from your company? Right. We know that Pandora sent the emails to Abigail directly from Hephaestus. I'm afraid such information is impossible to disclose without ministerial authorization. We're talking about an extremely sensitive data after all. As I expected. Even if we know Pandora did not kill the professor, I'm sure that resolving this case will get us closer to the truth. Do you need anything else from me? I don't want to sound arrogant, but I'm a really busy man. Maybe we should show him some evidence we found. He might give us some useful information. Sounds like a good idea. What's this one? The gun. Police report. Check. I guess we can show him this. Oh, sure, I recognize these pills. Our company produces them. They're amongst the most powerful sleeping pills on the market. They are generally used in our hospitals and laboratories. The access to this medicine is extremely restricted. Very interesting. What was it doing at the crime scene? Well, what's its effect exactly? Technically, once you swallow a pill, you fall into a deep sleep, just like a coma, and usually wake up around 7 to 8 hours later. So, maybe Huber got drugged before being killed. Second victim. Does he know the second victim? Wait, Sievers is dead? You know him? I certainly do. His name is Demetrius Sievers. He's one of the European ambassadors who came to the city a few days ago. The victim was killed with a headshot. His name was Demetrius Sievers, a European emissary authorized to enter the city to make commercial deals with Hephaestus. Not much information. Just has a profile. When did it happen? His body was found next to the professor's in a hotel room. Now I understand why he disappeared into thin air. He was our foreign trade liaison. He came here to discuss about exporting Aqua S technology. That's why there's no information on him. He had diplomatic immunity and he was protected by the government. If someone finds out he's dead, it will cause an international diplomatic incident. Exactly. Therefore, I suggest, or rather I demand, you keep this under your hats. I'll take care of informing the police and those concerned. Just continue your investigation for now. One last thing. Did the professor have any contact with the ambassador? Maybe via his encrypted company email address? I have no access to this kind of information. I'm sorry. What was this guy doing in Huber's hotel room? And who the hell killed him? This case is a real nightmare. For every answer we get, hundreds of questions arise. I guess I could show him that. Can you confirm that any kind of data contained within each Aqua OS comes from your main servers? Of course, every piece of information of every single device is saved and stored by our security systems. So, it should not be possible to hack into a device and delete its data, right? Correct, unless someone with a valid authorization accessed the main server and decided to erase it or alter its contents. Who has the authorization? Usually the police, government members, and the company employees who handle the main server. So, Eugene and Dean could have done it at any moment, if they wanted to. Alright, we have enough. You can go now. Thanks, Mr. Deckard. Delighted I could help. Please call me if you need anything else. Finally, chickens are coming home to roost. I'm starting to understand the reason behind the mask on Dean's face. Really? You saw one on his face too? Yeah, it showed up right after he read Huber's files. So, Dean is involved too, but to what extent? I'm not sure, but maybe Thalia could tell us more, given Dean's obsession with her. Where would I see Thalia, though? Wait a minute, is that... Huh? Oh, it's you, Detective Foley. Any luck with Cornelius' Aqua OS? Yeah, Dean managed to repair it, but you're not going to like what we found inside. What do you mean? Have a look for yourself. Cornelius, what have you done? I understand how you feel, but now more than ever we need to talk. In the message we found on his Aqua OS, the professor mentions an offer of a safe passage for you two in exchange for his research. The same research the people who promised his salvation were apparently interested in. Has he ever referred to something like that? Cornelius always wanted to go abroad and marry me, but leaving Nova Palamos is not that simple, as you can imagine. Especially when you are a valuable man to a company that works so closely with the government. During the weeks before his death, he kept on saying how happy he was to have me by his side, and he couldn't wait to marry me. It was like he was trying to sound happy at all costs, while hiding some kind of pain deep down in his throat, or heart. Other than that, he never talked about running away or any new research. Well, maybe a couple of emails sent abroad off the clock, but that's all. Wait, could you elaborate on that? Lately, Cornelius was sending more emails than usual when he was not at work, most of them addressed abroad through encrypted systems. Communications abroad off the clock, huh? Very interesting. Cornelius has always worked to create life or increase human knowledge. I can't believe he decided to study something like this. Maybe I knew him less than I'm ready to admit. What's certain, though, is that silly man worried about me till the very end. According to his Aqua OS data, he only laid the groundwork, and one of his assistants completed the virus. Can you confirm the professor didn't have any other assistants other than Dean and Eugene? Absolutely. I'm 100% sure. This means one of them is responsible for the virus, but which one? By the way, any word from Eugene? I'd really need his version of events. Not yet. He seems to be out of reach, but maybe I know how to track him down. And how are you going to do that? I can't be more specific, but trust me, as soon as I'm done, I'll send you the right address. Alright. Forgive me for the uncomfortable question, but is it true that Dean Smith is obsessed with you? That's embarrassing, but yes, it's true. Actually, he has always been rather harmless. He only ever sent me poems and drawings, and dedicated a few characters of his games to me, but nothing more. He said I was his muse, and that my influence in his life was the reason behind his success. Such a weirdo. Was Hugo aware of his behavior? He was, and they repeatedly argued over that, but nothing serious ever happened. And yet he appointed Dean as his successor. What the hell did he have in mind? Fine, you told me enough. Believe me, I'd like to tell you more, Detective. Don't worry, just call me when you hear from Eugene. Rest assured I will, and thank you. I truly appreciate what you're doing for Cornelius. So, our dear professor had contacts abroad and argued several times with his successor. Hera, did you hear everything? Of course. But we're still far from the truth. Indeed. Well, at least the evidence we've collected should be enough to unmask Dean. Maybe first we should go and visit David. It must be important, otherwise he would never call us. Alright, let's go. Oh, I keep just adding more saves. Yeah, yeah, why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching Dry Drowning on PC. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.